The house was quiet that evening, too quiet. You sat on the couch, your phone clutched in your trembling hands. As the sound of the clock ticking filled the living room, your eyes were fixed on the message you had just seen, a message you were never supposed to find. I can't stop thinking about you. You make me feel alive in ways I never knew possible. From jungkook to her. Your lips tremble as you read it, the words again and again, your mind refusing to accept what was right in front of you. The man you loved, the man you gave your everything to, was pouring his heart out to someone else. Jungkook, your whisper was barely audible, your heart cracking as if it was made of fragile glass. You had always been sensitive, fragile in ways you hated to admit. Small words could pierce your heart. Small gestures mean the world to you, and Jungkook, he had once been the one who understood that. He had once been the safe place you ran to whenever the world became too harsh, but tonight that safe place had turned into the sharpest blade. The sound of keys jingling at the door pulled you out of your daze. Jung walked in looking tired yet effortlessly handsome as always. His hair fell over his forehead. His lips slightly parted and his broad shoulders carried the weight of the day. Hey baby, he greeted, casually slipping off his jacket. You didn't sleep yet, you swallowed hard, quickly putting your phone face down on the couch. No, I was waiting for you. He smiled softened, but there was something distant about it. Something that made your chest achy even more. You didn't have to, you should rest more. Your eyes followed him as he walked into the kitchen, pouring himself a glass of water. As if nothing was wrong, as if your world had not just collapsed. You wanted to scream, you wanted to ask him why, but the words got stuck in your throat. Instead, you forced a smile. A long day? Yeah, he sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. Just work, meeting, and deadlines. You know the drill? Lies, half-truths, excuses. You could see them now woven into his every sentence. He was not just tired from work, he was tired from carrying the weight of a secret life you had not been invited to. That night when Jung fell asleep beside you, his arm tapped loosely over your waist. You lay awake staring at the ceiling, his breath were even, calm, peaceful, while your chest burned with silent sobs you didn't let out. You wanted to believe it was all a misunderstanding. Maybe you had misread. Maybe it was not what it seemed, but deep down your heart knew. The man beside you was not yours anymore. The sunlight streamed into the bedroom, painting the walls golden. It felt like a cruel mockery. You moved quietly, making breakfast like you always did. Pancakes, eggs, coffee, his favorite. Smells good, Joe said as he walked into the kitchen, kissing your temple lightly. The gesture, once so comforting, now felt like salt on an open wound. You forced a smile, before it gets cold. He hummed, sitting at the table, scrolling on his phone while eating. You watched him carefully, your chest tightening every time you caught a glimpse of the faint smile tugging at his lips as he read something on the screen. Not for you, never for you. The coffee mug in your hand shook, and you quickly set it down before he noticed. You didn't want him to see how broken you were inside. You sit in the park near your house, your phone placed tightly in your hands. Your best friend's voice crackled through the line. Why? You can't keep this inside. You need to talk to him. I can't. You whispered, tears beaming in your eyes. I don't even know what to say. What if he admits it? What if he says he really loves her? Then at least you will know the truth. Your friend said gently, you deserve honesty even if it hurts. You close your eyes, your chest rising and falling heavily. Honestly, yes, you deserve that much, but why did the thought of hearing you feel like a death sentence? Dinner was silent. Jungkook ate quietly, occasionally glancing at you, but you couldn't meet his eyes. You felt like a stranger in your own home. Finally, you broke the silence. Jungkook, your voice was soft and hesitant. He looked up, chewing slowly. Are you you gripped your fork tightly. Your palm sweetie. Are you happy? He blinked, caught off guard. Happy? Yes, you said, your voice trembling. With me, with us. For a brief moment his eyes flickered with something unreadable, but then he forced a smile. Of course I am. Why would you ask that? You nodded quickly, pretending to believe him, but your heart sank, because the truth was in his eyes, in his hesitation, in the way he avoided your gaze. He was not happy, at least not with you. And the realization broke something deep inside you. It was past midnight when you heard it again, his hushed voice in the hallway. As he talked on the phone, you stayed in the bedroom, the door slightly ajar, your body frozen as his words drifted in. I miss you too. Yeah. She's asleep. I will see you soon, I promise. The tears came fast, streaming down your cheeks silently. Every word stabbed into your chest like a knife. When he turned to bed, you pretend to sleep, your back turned to him, his arms wrapped around you again, warm and secure. You bite your lip to keep from sobbing. This was no love, not anymore. And in that moment, you knew you couldn't live like this. You couldn't keep pretending. You had to let him go, even if it shattered you completely. The next few days felt like a blur. You went to your routines, making breakfast, cleaning, answering work emails, but your heart was not in any of it. Every corner of the house screamed his name. Every silence reminded you of the love you had poured into this marriage, only to be left holding the shards of betrayal. At first, you cried endlessly in the shower, in bed. When you cooked, your tear felt like an endless stream, because no matter how much you tried to contain the pain, it spilled over. But soon the tears started to dry up, not because the pain was gone, but because you had nothing left to give. You had reached your breaking point that night as you came home late. Once again, you sat waiting in the living room. Your hands were clasped tightly together in your lap. Your heart pounding in your chest. This time you were not going to hide. This time you needed answers. The door opened and there he was, looking tired, guilty, and startled to see you awake. Why are you still up? You said hard. We need to talk. Jungkook froze for a second, then nodded, slowly slipping off his shoes. Okay, what's wrong? You stared at him, your lips trembling, but your voice steady. Who is she? The color drained from his face. What? Don't play dumb, Jungkook. Your eyes filled with tears, but your tone was sharp. I know, I have seen the messages. I have heard your late night calls. I know you are in love with someone else. His jaw clenched, and for the first time, he didn't have a ready excuse. He looked away, running a hand to his hair. His silence louder than any confession. Your heart cracked further at the silence. So is to you, whispered. When he finally looked at you, his eyes filled with guilt. I didn't mean for you to find out like this. A bitter laugh escaped your lips. Oh, so you didn't mean for me to live in the dark? To keep loving you while you gave your heart to someone else? It's not like that, he said quickly, his voice rising. I love you, Vine, but what? You cut him off, tears rolling down your cheeks. But she makes you feel alive. But she excites you in ways I don't. Don't you dare feel me half to Jungkook, not anymore. He flinched at your words. I go lost. I didn't plan this. I swear to you, it just happened. But that doesn't mean I don't love you. Stop, you whispered, shaking your head. Don't insult me with lies. If you really love me, you wouldn't have looked at someone else the way you used to look at me. The silence attached between you, thick and suffocating. His eyes glistened, but you no longer saw the man you once knew. Finally, you took a deep breath, your voice speaking with resolute. I want a divorce. Jungkook's eyes widened, panic flashing across his face. No one, please don't say that. Your lips stammered, but your gaze didn't falter. I mean it. I can't live like this. I can't share my husband's heart with someone else. He stepped closer, he said, stumbling as he reached for you. Baby, please give me a chance. I will end it. I will cut her off. I will do anything you want. Just don't leave me. You pulled away from his side, your tears falling harder. Why now, Jungkook? Why only when you are about to lose me? Where was this desperation when I was crying myself to sleep every night right beside you? Where was this effort when you chose her over me again and again? His face crumbled with the regret. I made a mistake. Please, don't throw away everything we have because of one mistake. One mistake, you repeated, your voice rising. You didn't trip and fall into her arms, Jungkook. You chose her. Every text, every call, every moment you gave her instead of me. That was not a mistake, that was a choice, and now I am making mine. Your voice cracked, but your eyes blazed with newfound certainty. I chose myself. The following week, you handed him the papers. Your hands shook as you slid them across the table, but your decision was firm. He stared at them. His eyes bloodshot, his lips trembling. Why, please don't do this. I already have, you said softly. Sign them, Jungkook. He shook his head, his tears spilling freely now. I can't lose you. You are my wife, my home. I was your home. You whispered, cutting him off. But you left a long time ago. I just didn't see it until now. His hand shook violently as he picked up the pen. He stared at the paper for what felt like hours, tears dripping onto the surface before finally scrawling his name. When he looked up, his face was broken, shattered in a way you had never seen before. Please don't go. Your heart asked, but you stood tall, wiping your tears. Goodbye, Jungkook. And with that, you walked away, leaving him behind with the ruins of what could have been. Weeks later, you found yourself in a small cafe sipping coffee as the sunlight warmed your skin. For the first time in a long time, you felt free. The pain had now vanished, but it no longer controlled you. You were learning to smile, to breathe again, to love yourself again. Some nights you still cried, some morning you still woke up reaching for him, but every day you reminded yourself you deserve better. You deserve honesty, loyalty, and the love that didn't waver. And one day, when Jung sat alone in the empty house that once overflowed with your laughter, he finally realized what he had lost. Not just a wife, not just love, but the woman who had given him her entire heart. But by then it was too late, because you had already risen from the ashes of heartbreak, stronger and better than ever. You had chosen yourself, and that choice made you unstoppable. The end.